Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm getting a little bit of pushback from people about James Freeman. But didn't you see the damage? Didn't you see the scars in his head? But how does a cop cut his knuckles on someone without hurting him? Here's the issue. Just because a cop used force does not mean that the cop used excessive force. The key word is excessive. Cops can use force to make an arrest. Cops can shoot you to make an arrest if that is what is necessary. If that is what is necessary for them to do to take you into custody, they can shoot you. They shoot people fairly regularly. Thousands of people are shot per year by the police into statistics that people often conflate into unjustified shootings. But not all of them are unjustified. In fact, the vast majority of them are justified, or at least as determined by our courts. You can disagree with that all you want. But the key word is excessive force. It goes back to the reasonableness for the Fourth Amendment. Any seizure has to be reasonable, and the amount of force used to make the seizure has to be reasonable. So the question becomes whether or not there is excessive force. So just because James was hurt, and he wasn't hurt a lot, I've seen people hurt a lot worse being taken into custody. Just because he was hurt is a meaningless fact. It doesn't mean anything. The question is, did he get hurt as the result of reasonable force or unreasonable force? Was the force reasonable or was it excessive? Just because he's hurt is meaningless. I can't emphasize that enough. An analogy is in medical malpractice. Just because you're hurt, if a doctor prescribes you a medication and you have a negative reaction to it, that doesn't mean that the doctor committed malpractice. The question is, did the doctor follow the standard of care? Is that what doctors are supposed to prescribe in that situation, or would other doctors in a similar situation say that's the correct medication to prescribe? If you're injured in a surgery, you might notice that you sign a waiver saying that, there are normal and expected complications. Just because you have a complication doesn't mean that the surgeon committed malpractice. The fact that you were injured, the fact that you were damaged isn't evidence of malpractice. It's did the doctor follow the standard of care? It's the same thing with cops. The qualifier that they use to determine whether or not the cop used excessive force is, would other reasonable cops in the same or similar circumstances have used that amount of force? So I hope that kind of clears it up a little bit for everybody out there who are like, but James had boo-boos. Yeah. He had a little bit of pink eye. He had some gravel in the back of his head. And I want to point to a subtle distinction. Did everybody watch the Jeff Gray seizure? The detention of Jeff Gray? Jeff Gray was calm, patient. He did what the officer demanded of him, and he did right. I mean, I say he caved, but I mean, he's in a lot better position now because he did what he did to sue. He's not going to have to be fighting from behind bars. So look at those two circumstances. You have James Freeman acting a fucking fool, and he gets hurt, allegedly. I mean, I don't know how much he got hurt. Didn't look that bad to me. Walk it off, Buttercup. But anyway, he got put in a very bad position where he's now facing felony aggravated assault charges. Congratulations. You look at Jeff Gray. Essentially, it's a very similar circumstance. Filming in public. Jeff Gray is not facing felony assault charges. What was the difference, kids? The difference is in how you approach it. And a big difference is going to be in how a jury is going to react to it. I mean, now not only do you have James Freeman acting a fool in the video, as opposed to Jeff Gray acting very calm, rational, reasonable. I don't think I'm required to give you my ID, but I will under threat of arrest. Man, I mean, that's a jury's going to look at that and, they're going to be like, yeah, that seems reasonable. He acted reasonable. They're going to look at James Freeman and they're going to be like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Excuse me. A rational jury might find that James Freeman acted like an idiot. But then you add in the subsequent stuff. Now, apparently Freeman has up a wanted thing on the cop who initiated the arrest. Well, if you have any information, forward it to the Pima County DA and to me. And then he gives his email address. Like, what are you going to do, bro? Why do you need that cop's information? I mean, it's in the arrest report. You have everything. You have literally everything you need to file a lawsuit against that cop, except for the fact that no attorney apparently wants to touch you with a 10-foot pole. Maybe you should think about that, Mr. Freeman. Maybe you should pause to consider in your life why you're the one getting busted up and arrested and Jeff Gray isn't, and why you're the one who's having trouble finding an attorney when I would love, and I'm not soliciting Jeff or Gray, but I would love to represent him or someone like him who approached it cool, calm, and collected and who let the cop be the asshole. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.